Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Growth Edge with the Afrikan MSME Collective. And my name is Kyesubire Greg, and I'm your host for this conversation. Now, in this space as the AMC, we help business set up, build, stabilize, and then build for sustainability. And sustainability is in multiple sectors. But our key focus is how long does your business last? We want to ensure that we have more African intergenerational businesses, and that's really what we're looking to build. So come on, hop on this flight. We'll have an enjoyable ride, and we will not take you too far or too long. But our reality is it's quick stories, it's reliable, it's applicable, and you can take it to the bank today. Now, when I say take it to the bank, it means you can build a sustainable business just by listening to the conversations we have and responding to them. Now, we have a couple of other shows, but today's show is the Growth Edge, which gives you actionable insights for tomorrow that you can apply today. And it's a very interesting conversation as we draw towards the end of the year. We're talking about the power of looking back, the power of reflection. And when we think about reflection, I remember seeing a lot of entrepreneurs were like, it's too much work to look back. But I'll start with a quote from Berta Lippert, who says, the only time you should ever look back is to see how far you've come. Now, we're not asking you to look back in regret. We're not asking you to look back and be depressed. What we want to do as business owners, what we must learn to do is look back and know what worked, what didn't work, what do we need to shift, and that's the conversation we need to have. So as always, I'm here with my amazing business partner, Joe Mukoko, and we'll be discussing this from multiple perspectives. But Joe, I'd like you to just say hi to everybody. And what was the one day you were forced to reflect? You didn't want to, but you were forced to reflect.
Thank you, Kyesubire. Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be here and to sit. Allow me to celebrate you. It has been an amazing journey. And I thank God for you and for the distance we've walked as we try. So this was one. Now that you've raised black, I also have black. So let me just raise black so that we are all equal. Okay. So here we go.
All right, there goes the black one.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, equal. Thank you. Just building from our experiences and sharing from our experiences in order for the business owners to, I will not say repeat the same mistakes, but learn from our mistakes. Today we are talking about reflection. And when you asked, is there a point I was forced to reflect? You know, we normally think that monitoring and evaluation is only for those big companies and a lot of NGO and government staff. But monitoring and evaluation is also for us as business owners. And I put it as MEAL, M-E-A-L, monitoring, evaluation, and learning. From that reflection, what happens next? And we will discuss that today. One of the points I was forced to reflect is when I assumed that because I had a very good turnover, my business was growing, but it had holes. And see, one thing the bank will never tell you is how to run your business. You've just told us to take this conversation to the bank. I hope they can be able to convert it into euros or something, shillings, dollars, and it becomes some good currency we can spend. You see, banks look at your turnover. Before they look at anything else, they look at your turnover. And I think having consistent banking and withdrawing when I was running the gas business put some blind spots in my way that I could not see. But you see, here you are doing the business, but are you making money? And not just making money, are you profitable? And not just profitable, are you sustainable? That 1 year from now, will you be here? 2 years from now, will you be here but a better version of the 1 year ago? And 5 years from now, will you be a better version of, or even best version of who you are today? That is a point that I was forced to reflect. There's turnover, but there's no cash in your pocket. There's turnover and there's no cash in the profit account. There's turnover, but you're still having moments of grief as a business owner. Thank you.
I think that there's something you've said there that has really jumped out at me. I always take copious notes when you're speaking, because you said banks will never tell you how to run your business. And many of us will take the statements we're taking to the bank as the real reflection. Yet the real reflection should be cash flow, should be profitability, should be sustainability. Those are the three things I've had you say. So that makes me ask, what should we be looking at when we're doing reflections? So my assumption is we've been running business for a year. So I had a personal goal when we started, you had a personal goal when we started, and we had a business goal. So what should we be looking at reflecting about now that we are coming towards the end of the year? You are muted.
They have talked a lot of wisdom. I take you back to our first show when we started the year, and we started off with SMEs in our space and just talking to them in terms of how their year should be. There are 4 things I would like them to look at when they're reflecting. One, you've clearly mentioned, is their cash flow. How much money came in through their accounts? How much revenue did they generate? What did they do with that revenue? Fine, they generated the revenue, then what did they do with it? When they do now that they've looked at their cash flows, are they in a positive situation or negative situation? Then when they do their profit and loss, are they green or red? That is one. Secondly, would be what I call the customer effort score. When they do surveys among their customers, how easy is it for customers to be able to deal with them? In terms of even delivery, do customers find it easy to purchase from you, to get the delivery done by you? And lastly, to get after-sales service from you. So when they're looking at their journey with you, how easy is it for them? Then we look at what we also call our net promoter score. If I have been having customers, how easy is it for them to refer other customers to me? You see, if the effort was difficult, would they refer? No. If the effort was easy, would they refer? Yes. Now, net promoter score will show us how we are doing amongst our customers. Then our level of innovation. What have we done? Have we tweaked our programs? Have we tweaked our branding? Have we tweaked something to do with the product so that we have enhanced value to the customers that we are serving? Then also look at operations. How efficient have we been? Are there gaps? Are there holes? So those are the things that in a quick win that any SME owner can do. So look at your finances, your cash flow, revenue, look at your customer effort score, look at your net promoter score, look at your innovation, and then look at your operational efficiency.
So for instance, I look at all those and then I find them in a negative. It's very easy to spiral. I remember we've been having a lot of conversations about entrepreneur mental health, because this is a big thing that we all grapple with. So the question I would have is, when we're looking at these things, we're looking at them against our plans at the beginning of the year, or when we're planning the year the previous year, to see whether we have done well or not. So these are related to the business. As an individual business owner, looking at myself, what should I be reflecting on? Because this all helped me assess my business. How do I
Good.
assess myself as an individual?
Starting point is, and thank you about talking about mental health, wellness for entrepreneurs. You know, I'm passionate about it because then it's very easy for the switch to flip and for you to burn out. One is looking at your own development as a business owner against the plans you had. Where did you do so well? Where were there challenges? What is your own leadership style? And how did it contribute to the areas that you won and to the areas that you had challenges? Now, when you do this gap analysis, then it will also help you. I know we'll talk about this in the next episode going forward, that as you plan for your business, how are you planning for yourself? You don't need to go back to school to do an MBA or a diploma or something, but there's always continuous learning and continuous learning in the areas that you have gaps in. For example, I tell people I'm a certified digital marketer, but I don't do digital marketing. But I did it to understand that when I'm telling my customers, go digital, why am I telling them to go digital? And when they've gone digital, what metrics are we looking at? You know, how is it coming into play? So coming back, your wins, your challenges, your leadership style. Where did it work for you? Where did it not work for you? Now, this will help you then be able to look for help, seek help, and use that help.
Say that again. Look for help.
Look for help, seek help, use that help. Remember, we've talked about monitoring, evaluation, and learning. When you've done this reflection exercise, and then, as we always say with you, it's not kalongo-longo. Or it's not that game in your mother tongue, I've forgotten how they call it, where kids would draw boxes and then jump on them on the soil. I'll remember, I'll tell you.
Hopscotch. We call it hopscotch in English.
No, not in that mother tongue. In the other mother tongue from there, Machakos Makueni. It had a very interesting name. Oh, God. You know, so it's not that game that you're just hopscotching. No, it's, remember we talked about the purpose of all these exercises, you being a better version of yourself 1 year from now, and 3 years from now, you being a better version of the 1 year, and 5 years from now, you being a better version or the best version that you can ever be. You know, one thing about business is that we face challenges every day, but yet each new day is a new beginning. It's still an opportunity to either create value, enhance value, or erode value. So it's your choice.
There's something you said there that's so powerful, that the target of everything we do is to be a better version of ourselves year on year. I remember reading, when I read about Robin Sharma, the law of automaticity, which says we all know it takes 21 days to create a new habit and 45 days of practice to make it an automatic reflex or response. So that's 66 days. So the law of automaticity says it takes 66 days to permanently change a habit and embed it to be automatic. which then brings me back to, if it takes 66 days, then the only thing I can only change 4 things in a year. So when I'm looking back, and this is what now my own personal reflections, when I'm looking back at 2024, is to look at what I set out to do, where I got, what worked, what didn't, and then what are the 4 big things that I can do in 2025 that will significantly shift me forward. And it really makes me think about, these things people do at the New Year resolutions. I stopped doing those a few years ago, because by the end of January, you're done. And when you were talking about reflection, I was thinking of how powerful it is to have a goal, to be building around a goal. So in 10 years, I want to be doing this, and then breaking it down and having, so year 1 is step 1, year 2. So what do I need to do in year 1 to ensure that by the beginning of year 2, I'm in a better place to achieve what I want to achieve in year 10? But many times, and I think this is where we get stuck, we don't actually hit the mark. Even when I look at 2024, for instance, let's look at what we had planned. We had planned to do a total of 66 shows. We're not far from that target, but we're not exactly at the target. So then I'll reflect in the sales team, there would be a target I've set for a person, certain individual, and they've not hit the target. And not hitting the target has a monetary impact, which then now has, what's the word? Has a business impact, if I can put it that way. So how do we, in the face of unmet targets, how do we navigate that? You are muted.
Thank you, Kyesubire, for that. How do we navigate? Allow me to answer that with two points. I'll try and make them short. Point number 1. We've talked about this being a better version of ourselves and having a better product than what we had. You remember, we always joke about this Omo with Powerform, Omo with aloe vera, Omo with sijui scent, Omo sijui with molecules, Omo sijui with organic water. Omo, you get a product iterates. Same thing with our own products. You have to iterate. So what would be the benefits of, number 1, conducting this exercise? 1, you will be able to improve your decision making. You're looking at the past to be able to go ahead. Remember the quote that you read for us? If we don't fill in those gaps, we will not be better. I laugh and I tell people, 3 years ago, I could not speak the way I'm speaking right now. Was I a trainer? Were there gaps? Yes. Sitting around good communicators and storytellers like yourself and others, I had to take a course. Take this path, walk with someone, and I'll talk about it. 2, you are able to, 1, you will improve your decision making. 2, you will be able to solve problems easily. Why? Because you're reflecting, you're able to see at this point of the journey, this is what happened, this is what happened, this is how I can correct it. Then you deal with it. And then that means then you have enhanced organizational learning. Now, organizational learning helps you to work on your strengths, your challenges, and the way forward. Okay? Because if you have improved your decision making, then you are better at solving problems. That means you're picking up lessons and putting them somewhere. Remember, we were talking about monitoring, evaluation, and learning. Okay? Where are the systems failing? Where are the processes not efficient? How can we change it? Where is culture letting us down? How do we change organizational culture? Then lastly, you will be able to innovate, recreate, ideate, and do all those things. Basically, you improve your innovation. Now, we are not hitting targets, right? We've done that. Those are the benefits of us. Then when we come back and we look at ourselves and let's say, then what can we do? One, we go back to what you talked about. Set goals and use the SMART method of setting goals. We shall discuss that in the next episode. And then have an action plan. What steps do you need to take to get to where it is you want to go? And in your action plan, have a risk mitigation plan. In the event that I've taken this step and it has not worked, what else can I do to protect myself? Then be adaptable. Understand that, one, your plan is not cast in stone. Two, business is dynamic. It changes. Allow your plan to have those changes. And as a business owner, then create the right mindset that things can shift. I take you back to the days of price control. Do you remember the days of price control?
Yeah.
And the day the minister is going to set prices, if there's a possibility that the prices are going to go low, the shopkeeper will try to dispose of everything they have, including giving you on credit.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. But if there's a possibility that the prices are going to go high, they hold so that tomorrow they can be able to make a profit. Price control still exists in a capitalist market, but it exists. How well are you ready to change? Then monitor your progress. And as you monitor your progress, celebrate your wins. Even where there are challenges, celebrate the wins. What wins have you managed to achieve? And as you monitor, you keep on moving. Now, monitoring will allow you to keep making changes. As you celebrate your wins and the challenges come, then you ask yourself, go back to the organization of the learning organization. How did we win? Where were these challenges? What can we do to overcome these challenges? Who do I need or what do I need? And then continue to conduct the reflection exercise. And I throw in some spices to this reflection exercise. Get an accountability partner. Because what your accountability partner will do will be able to ground you and help you see you didn't hit your monetary target. Why? What can we do to improve on it? How far off are you from the target that you've set, and what can you do in the coming year?
I think some of us would find reflection very heavy, but then there's so much value in what you've just said. Because I'm looking at it, and there's the whole aspect of shifting our ability to make decisions and make us better problem solvers. And when I look at it from where I sit, I think for many of us, the thing we need to also do, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, is after we reflect, we write out what it is we have found. It's one thing to reflect, and then like, what was that we said? But as you were speaking, all these things, set goals, action plan, risk plan, that takes writing. And it also takes it. Now, I was just reflecting on how valuable the ability to go back and look at something is. And just to explain to people, I always keep saying I take copious notes when you're talking. And it is from these notes that we're able to now come back and say, but on this date, this was the date, and we were doing this conversion, and we said 1, 2, 3. It also helps us to hold ourselves to account to what we're teaching. I think that's very powerful. So what next? What next?
What next is you start. Start the way you will start. Start. You had a goal at the end of the year. You've talked about writing it down. If you hadn't written it down, can you write it down? What did you expect?
But starting
Then go
feels so
back to your.
hard.
It feels
Hard.
well, it is hard, but remember this. If you don't start and correct, you will never know what is hitting you. It's like a boxer, you know. A boxer is taught when to raise their guard, when to lower their guard so that they can throw their punch. And if you do this a split second late, then you get knocked out. The same thing with us and business. When can we put our guard up? When can we let our guard down so that we can throw that punch that we need to? And I always use this with analogy with my own business, that I was late. I was late. Put the guard up. And that punch comes and hits you. So start. Write 1 page, 5 sentences. Write. If you can't write, go to Excel. If you can type, put it on Excel. Now, as you're putting on Excel or you're writing it down, look at what is in your mind about your business. What vision do you see? When you close your eyes, what do you see? Or what would you prefer where would you prefer your business to be? 1 branch, 2 branches, 1 branch, 100 employees, whatever. Then go back to what is it you wanted to do? What were your wins? What were your challenges? What were your lessons learned? Then now come back and ask yourself, what are the things in business we look at? We go back to the conversation where we started. Look at your cash flow and revenues. Look at your Net Promoter Score, your customer effort. Look at your operational efficiency. Now, you see your Net Promoter Score will also answer the question of your marketing and your branding. What is the perception of your brand in the eyes of your customers? But you must conduct this exercise. And let's go basic. Let's look at that guy in the corner pushing his cart for, what is that thing they call? They call it smocha. Smoker.
Bocha.
Okay. Yeah, smocha. Okay. Before they started smocha, all they were selling were just smokies. Then added a bit of kachumbari. To those joining us from outside Kenya, smocha is like, what do you call it? A tortilla wrap. Yeah, something like that. It's like a wrap.
It's a wrap of not a sausage, but and it's not a hot dog or a Vienna. It's a it's snack.
It's
like
a version of
like
something.
It's a version of a sausage, yes.
Yes.
It's a it's a ready-to-eat sausage.
Good. Then they go and they are told, the customer, oh, I really like your whatever you're offering. Could you add boiled eggs? And they add boiled eggs. Could you add curried potatoes? Then they add curried potatoes. Could you add kebabs? They add kebabs. Now, basic. So it goes back to us. How are we marketing to our customers? So all those things, you have to look at them. And I think we'll talk about that in the next episode. But initially, you must write it down. 1 page, 5 sentences, 4 sentences. My goal was, are you there? So you have to start one way or the other. If feeling that you cannot do self-reflection, or if you feel like doing self-reflection will be a problem, get professional help. Get an accountability partner to sit with you and then ask you the hard questions in a simple way, answer them. Then from there, you will set your goals and then you'll have an action plan. That by the time we are singing Feliz Navidad in December, you have things figured out. And remember, the journey is personal, internal, individual. Run your race, run your pace. Set your pace. Seek to keep to it.
And there we have it. The intention of this conversation is to enable us to stop, review, and then informed by what we have found, we plan. And once we have a plan in place, we execute. And I like what you've just ended with. You've said, set your pace, and my interpretation of it is set your pace and keep to it. Because none of us is running at the same speed. None of us, we could be going in the same general direction, but each of us has specifics we're working towards. And that's a wrap on this whole conversation of reflection. It is important to us because it helps us look back to see how far we've come and then look forward to design the path upon which we need to go. But it's also important, and I'll just summarize what Joe has said, we need to understand our financials. So look at your cash flow, look at your profit, look at your expenses, your expenditure, and then you need to look at your customer effort score. How easy is it for them to work with you? Your net promoter score, which is how easy will your customers refer you, your levels of innovation, and your operational efficiency. When I sit and reflect, these are so easily also plugged into personal life as they are into business. So I hope that by this conversation, you have seen the value of monitoring, evaluation, and learning, which is how we like to look at it as meal. But then you're also understanding that the reason for reflection is that we'll be able to become a better version of ourselves. So as your parting shot, Joe, what is one encouragement that you can give business owners in the ecosystem?
You had an idea. You started working on your idea. You brought it to life. It is possible for you to grow it. Keep growing. Keep moving. The good thing about a journey is that it allows you to pace yourself, as we said. In a 9-hour journey, you will decide how many times you would like to stop for health breaks, stop for rest, stop to eat. And in all those moments when you stop in a 9-hour journey, then it allows you to look back at where you've come from and what you can do different. Do I increase my speed? Do I reduce my speed? How are my energy levels? How are my motivation